a and an, the indefinite article in English? Well, first of all, compared to Norwegian, the English usage of the article is a bit simpler. In both languages, the article is used before nouns. In Norwegian, we have three forms, en, I, et, while in English you only have two. And the rule for when to use which is also easier in English than in Norwegian. In Norwegian, we have three genders of our nouns. That means that some words are female in a way, and some are male, and some have no gender. In English, however, you don't have to know the gender of a noun. However, you have to use a before consonant sounds and an before vowel sounds. A vowel sound is a sound that you can sort of sing, like a, u, and so on. And notice that I say sound. It's not the letter, it's not the spelling, but the sound of the word that matters. So, in Norwegian, we would say en gutt, because that's a male word, and then we would say et hus. In Norwegian, we would not use different articles on those two. It would be a boy, a house, but we would use an before elephant, because it starts with that sound, which is a vowel sound. So if you're not sure on which to use, you have to sound out the word after the article. Now, where do we go wrong? What do Norwegians do wrong when using the indefinite articles? Well, first of all, some students use one instead of a or an. Now, one is also a translation in a way of en, I, et, but you're only supposed to use that when you want to specify, when you want to underline that there's only one, not two, not three, not many. In most cases, you should use a or an. Some students don't look at the next word at all. They just choose one. Often they don't use an at all. They only use a, or they just pick one at random. And of course, many students look at the spelling of the next word instead of the sound of the next word. Now, here are some tricky ones. If you look at only the spelling on these ones, you would think that it should be a honor, an university, and so on. But if you listen to the way they are pronounced, you will see that it's an honor, a university, and a one-legged pirate, and so on. I've tried to spell out the three first words, the way you say them. And you actually don't say honor, you say honor. And you don't say university, you say university. So you sort of put in a J sound. And you say one-legged pirate. You sort of insert a W in the beginning of that word. Try to sound out the next three words for yourself and see if you can explain why that should be a, an, and a in the last three examples. Now there are some more tricky ones, some exceptions in a way, or some differences to the way we use articles in Norwegian. The first is occupations. In Norwegian, we don't need to use an article before we say an occupation, like jeg er lærer or jeg er sykepleier. In English, however, you have to use an article before an occupation. You have to say an electrician, a teacher, a nurse. And many students forget to use the article. Another one, and that is actually the same in Norwegian, and that's uncountable nouns. Now, uncountable nouns are exactly what it sounds like. They are nouns that you cannot count. You can say one dog, two dogs, several dogs, many dogs, but you cannot say one money, two monies, several monies. You can't count words like money, bread, furniture, and there are also other examples like advice, knowledge, and so on. And these words you cannot use article in front of, because if you cannot say many, you cannot say a. So you cannot say a money, you have to say some money, or a lot of money, or little money. And you cannot say a bread, but you can say a loaf of bread, or a piece of bread, or a slice of bread. And the same goes for furniture and the other uncountable nouns. Now, if you don't know if a noun is uncountable or not, you can find it in a dictionary, and your textbook probably has a list of uncountable nouns as well. So good luck, and I'll see you next time.